Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis, preventing tunnel vision and allowing quick target acquisition in awkward shooting positions. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, Tom's talking about the aftermath of a self-defense shooting, new guns and holsters, your range reports, and much more. Call in now, 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now here's the man of the hour, Tom Gresham.
Oh my goodness, we have so much to talk about today. Hey, I'm Tom Gresham, glad that you could be with us. If you want to join us, well, it's fun. And we make it easy. 866-TALK-GUN or just dial Tom Talk Gun, get you in here. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Gun Talk. Over on Facebook, just look for Gun Talk or Gun Talk Media. We have a lot of things going on, a lot of live videos we're doing over there. Live videos are fun because you get to ask questions, and we'll have people from different manufacturers, shooters, that type of thing. You could ask them questions real time, and they will answer them. It's kind of like talk radio, but with video. It's just a lot of different ways to take part in that. Of course, we're always giving away stuff. We have our current giveaway going on right now. Just go over to guntalk.com/win, where we're going to be giving away, let's see, Alien Gear ShapeShift, boy, be careful when you say that, ShapeShift Holster giveaway. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Now, here's one that you really don't want to know about. This is kind of, no, this is more than kind of cool. This is way cool. You're familiar with the civilian marksmanship program. That is the quasi-governmental, used to be, but now it's almost not governmental, program for competition, but also for selling government military surplus firearms to the citizens of the United States. There have been a lot of M1s, Grands, a lot of M1 carbines, going way back. It used to be you could get surplus 1911 .45 Colt automatic pistols. That stopped under President Obama. But on Friday, the U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 2810, the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2018. Now, here's the cool part. Included in that bill is a provision, this is according to an ILA release, a provision that would make U.S. Army surplus 1911 .45 ACP pistols available to the American public through the CMP. What's really interesting about this, as I read this thing, it says currently the military has some 100,000 excess 1911s sitting in storage at taxpayer expense. Transfer of these historically significant firearms would ease a burden on the government's heavily indebted balance sheet and help preserve important artifacts from an era when the U.S. military defended Western civilization. Yes, yes, yes. These would, I mean, for those who are thinking, wow, so we don't have to, yes, you have to do all the paperwork. You have to do background checks. You have to go through a dealer. All the laws would have to be obeyed, but you would be able to get a genuine military surplus 1911. All right, here's a question for you. I'm curious. Would you be interested? I mean, there are a lot of really good 1911s being made now, and I don't know that six of us together could count up how many companies are making 1911s. But at the same time, would you care to have a genuine military 1911? Now, for those who've never handled one, no, they don't have the good sights. No, they don't have the good triggers. No, they don't have all the aftermarket stuff that we've come to expect. These are stripped down, ready to go into the trenches, in the jungles, in the desert, guns made for when things have gone wrong and you've got somebody, the enemy, in your own foxhole kind of a deal. But there are some amazing stories throughout the wars of things done with military 1911. So would you want one? And if so, why? Would you shoot it? Would you modify it and shoot it? Would you just hold on to it and collect it? I don't know. I would be torn, I think. I would I'm just thinking. I would probably shoot it just because, hey, it's a piece of history, but you're not going to hurt it by shooting it. It's certainly not going to harm the collector value, such as it might be. But I'm not sure I would modify it either. I'm not sure I would take that, strip it down, and start putting 1911 parts on it. Something about that doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, or am I emotionalizing this thing too much? Just give me a call, Tom Talk Gun. Let me know what you would do. First of all, would you be interested if you could buy a 1911 at a good price through the civilian marksmanship program, a genuine military surplus? And then, if so, what would you do with it? 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. We'll be right back.
Laser sights offer an immediate advantage when visibility is poor and seconds count. Laser sights can de-escalate a deadly encounter by engaging the target with a laser, enhancing your ability to protect your family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
It's America's favorite .22 rifle. No matter how, where, or what you like to shoot, there's a Ruger 1022 for you. From the carbine to the incredible takedown models, the tactical and target versions, all Ruger 1022 models have the legendary action and detachable 10-round rotary magazine. Whether you're hunting squirrels or tin cans, there's a lifetime of fun in every Ruger 1022 rifle. See them all at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
There's only one place where you can buy that firearm you've always wanted and turn it into your very own. That place is Brownells.com. Now offering a huge selection of firearms from all your favorite brands. Brownells is the spot to buy online. When you're choosing your gun, be sure to look over the enormous selection of parts, accessories, ammo, and more to make that firearm your masterpiece. Brownells.com. Serious about firearms.
Back with you, asking the question, if it turns out, and it looks like it very well may, that the civilian marksmanship program sets up and can start selling to the public the 1911s that are sitting in storage, military surplus. I mean, they're not being used by the military. They're just, the number I saw in this story was 100,000 of them sitting there. Somebody's paying. No, take it back. We are paying to store those. Frank just called in out of Oklahoma on one. He's got a thought. Frank, would you get one of these 1911s?
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them, in fact.
Really?
I already got 4 made, one in 1915 and a couple, 3 in the 40s.
So what do you do with them? Because I know there are people who may not know much about them. They're thinking, well, I mean, why would you want more than one? What's it all about?
Well, that one made in 1914 was an accident. I got it with a two-star general field box, and didn't even realize when I bid that the gun was along with it.
Wow!
And, but I've shot it, and it shoots fantastic. It's it hadn't been fired that much because it's good and tight and everything, and it's just a piece of history. And one of them we have is one my dad bought when he was in officer, and they didn't issue sidearms when he was in Korea. Mm-hmm. And I grew up learning to shoot with that because he was a training officer.
Okay.
And
I got to ask you about the 1914 one, because obviously this thing was adopted by the military in 1911. So that was very, very early on, and it's a U.S. General, and you got the presentation box. I'm not sure I'd go out and shoot that one now, Frank. That thing's probably worth some serious money.
Well, I don't shoot. I had to shoot it at least twice, and my dad twice, and then we put it up, cleaned it, keep it all.
Have you ever had an appraisal on it? Do you have any idea what that's worth?
I think when I looked it up through the Blue Book, and I came up with about $4,200.
I'll give you that right now. I think it's worth a lot more. I think it's worth a lot more than that, Frank. Honestly, I think.
Well, just going by their deal, but like you said, with the serial number being small and everything else, it's. Now, one guy told me he thought it might be worth about 8 to 10.
That could be. The whole deal is having the presentation box, having it be a general's gun.
Oh, no, it's not a presentation box.
Oh, okay.
It's a two-star general. It had the place that they carried in it. It was the field box, travel box,
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool, though. But if you had a chance, you would get some more of them from the CMP, though.
Oh, yes. I've been waiting for those Durands to show up.
Yeah, you and me both. And that may happen. I think there's something like 80,000 of them sitting in Korea that we may be able to repatriate, get them back into this country. That would be very cool. Frank, I appreciate the call. I want to talk to John in Shreveport on, too. John, I take it you're going to jump on one of these 1911s if you could get one.
Oh, no, are you kidding? How many can I get? Is there a limit?
There probably would be.
I'm a cowboy action shooter. I do cowboy, the Wild Bunch category. I have a 1911 that was made in 1917, and I've got a 1911 A1 that was made in 1944. I use the 1911 for accuracy shooting, and I use the 1911 A1 for speed shooting, depending on the situation and the category that got set up at the match.
I had forgotten about the cowboy action aspect, and you can use the 1911 in that category.
Absolutely. Tom, they're great. I mean, people, I go to these events, and I pull out that original 1917, and people look at that and, oh, wow, you've got an original. Man, where'd you get that? Oh, I got that from a friend, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you, man. I would, I don't know what the limit's going to be, and probably would be like two per person. But man, I would jump all over this if we could do. I would get a couple of those, and I would definitely get at least $1 grand if we could get those in. Hey, John, I appreciate the call. Brian's with us out of Huntsville, Alabama, on 3. Brian, 1911s might be coming in. What do you think?
I think that I want one. I don't want to take more than one because I want everybody else to have an opportunity. I would fire it periodically. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, I want one to where my grandkids can see what I carried around on a tank in the Army. Those things are made for clearing decks of infantry coming on your tank.
When were you carrying one on a tank?
85 through 87 before they went to the M9 or to the Browning 9mm.
Oh, okay. The Beretta.
Right. I'm sorry. Excuse me, not the Browning, the Beretta. Forgive me.
Yeah. So you had John Browning 1911 on your brain, didn't you?
Sure did.
And why not, right?
But yep, I would love to have one because to this day, all the training we went through in basic, I could still close my eyes. I could break that down and put it back together.
Isn't that something? Yeah, just a lot of great stories about the 1911. How old is your daughter, by the way?
I've got one that's 18 and one that's 23, so I'm looking for grandkids in the not too distant future, but I don't want to rush them.
Well, here comes the hard part then. Which one gets the 1911?
Probably the younger one, because the oldest one doesn't care about that kind of thing too much.
Okay, I got another way to go on this, you know. I got to tell a quick story. Andy Devine, the actor, was a friend of ours, a family, and they had 2 daughters. And both daughters really loved their Parker shotguns that he had, and they both wanted the 410. And they said, okay, whichever one of you gives us a grandchild first gets it. And one evening they're sitting at home, Andy and his wife, and one of the daughters just opens the front door, walks in, walks all the way through the living room, goes back to the gun cabinet, opens it up, reaches in, pulls out the 410, closes it, walks out the front door, gets in her car, and drives home. That's how she told him she was pregnant.
That's what I was thinking. And I got to see, you gave me a second idea, though. You gave me a second idea. Is that in my will, I put it in there, the one who shoots the best with it after I die on a set of targets gets it.
Oh, it's a shoot-off. I love it. Oh, you know what you could do? You could have a funeral / shoot-off. That would be cool.
That would be a blast of a way to go.
It really would, wouldn't it? That would be great. Invite all your friends to come. We're going to have a big shooting event, and while we're there, we're going to have this shoot-off. And, you know, and then what you do is you surprise them and say, oh, yeah, well, by the way, I actually got 2 of them. You girls are both going to be good here. That would be cool.
I got to talk to my attorney and get it put in the will.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Yeah, I just love that Andy Devine story. If you don't know, he was an actor. I guess he was in 80 movies, westerns and such. If you look him up, if you're old enough, you'll recognize him. You certainly would recognize his voice. Oh, you know what? You would know Andy's voice from The Jungle. Is it The Jungle Book? No, Robin Hood. He's in Robin Hood. He was the voice of I can't remember. One of them. I can't remember. He did the voice of one of those guys there. Pretty cool. So, speaking of giving guns away or put them in wills, I've always advocated, hey, you know, certainly you can pass down your guns, but, you know, another way to go might be choose the person who you would like to have this firearm and give it to him or her before you die, like maybe now, so you can enjoy watching all that. There is, however, the other side of this coin. I got an email this morning from a fellow who said, yeah, I said I did that. And then I guess he gave it to a relative, and that relative died, and the relative's daughter gave the gun away, like immediately within a day or two, because he was going to try to get it back and keep it in the family. And she either gave it away or sold it. Here's a question for you, I guess. Do you have any attachment to or say so or reasonable logical expectation of ever seeing that gun again? Once you give it away, it's gone. It's not yours anymore, is it? I mean, I understand. You say, well, this has been in the family, and I want my daughter to have it. I want my son to have it. I want whomever to have it. But that person can then do whatever he or she wants with it. So would it drive you crazy? I guess this may be the real question. Would it drive you crazy if you had this very cool gun that you really wanted to have somebody in your family have, and you gave it to him or her, and they either didn't care, or not moved by it, or even worse, didn't want it and sold it or gave it away? Yeah, that would bother me. That would kind of drive me a little bit crazy. Oh, by the way, if you follow my Twitter feed, I'm at Gun Talk. Did you see the picture I posted a couple of days ago? And this kind of goes to the same thing. We were out shooting a video, or actually I was shooting video. I was running camera on Friday. And there was a part of it was like old time like 1950s. And we needed an old rifle. And so I grabbed my mother's rifle. It was the first centerfire rifle I ever shot when I was a youngster. And it's so old, it was marked 25 Roberts. Before we called them the 257 Roberts. Made by a custom gun maker in Wichita Falls, Texas, Morton Gun Works. It is a stunning curly maple stock. If you saw the picture on Twitter, I would love to get your take on it. I got a lot of people who are commenting on it and really liking it. But that's one of those, Jim and I were talking about it before the show, is you just never let go. You never let it get out of your family. And, what happens when I'm gone? I don't know. Ryan or my daughter, somebody gets it. Maybe my daughter, because it was Mom's rifle. It is a stunning piece of curly maple wood, and it's just beautiful. I was thinking before the show today, it's probably been 50 years since that rifle's been fired. Which, you know what that means, don't you? Got to clean the barrel, got to get it, because it's slick, it's ready to go, other than I probably just need to clean the barrel. We got to go out and shoot it. I got some old, I probably got some 40 to 50-year-old 257 Roberts ammo. And that stuff is not nearly as good as the ammo we have today. Not nearly. But it would be fun to go out and shoot it. I was able to harass the crow population with that rifle way back when I was a teenager. Back then, as they say, in the olden days, you could drive around, find crows, and just shoot them out of the vehicle on dirt roads. Yeah, I know. But it was a different time, and it was very rural. And yes, we probably shouldn't have done it even then, what we were doing, but it was okay. We were safe about it. But yeah, very cool rifle. This has made me think about that. I just really am going to have to take that rifle out. It also is a chance for me to pitch, once again, the Bob, as the 257 Roberts is called. One of the great calibers, a neck-down 7mm Mauser. Not much recoil. It's a good 400-yard deer antelope cartridge. And with good bullets, I would have no problem hunting elk with it. Just a terrific cartridge. Not much recoil. I love that about it. Flat shooting. You can shoot varmints with it. You can shoot deer, shoot antelope, shoot sheep. Yes, you can shoot elk with it. You ever shot a Roberts? Love to hear about that. Hey, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about comfortable holsters. There's a lot of development going on there, and those of us who carry every day, this is important stuff.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Hey, welcome back to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Always love to get your range reports. What are you taking out shooting? What have you bought recently? Guns, ammo, optics, holsters, whatever. And we talk a lot about, of course, holsters and the continuing challenge of finding a holster that works for you. It's why we all end up with this huge box of holsters that we all end up with, it seems like, because we're trying to find the one that works. And you're joining me right now to talk about finding holsters that work and that are comfortable. Tyler Botch joins me from Alien Gear. Hey, Tyler, how you doing, man?
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
You bet. Okay, so you would agree with me. That is like the big challenge for people who decide to carry is, how do I carry this big chunk of plastic and steel and be able to carry it all day long, right?
Yes, this is it's a huge challenge for the carrier and something we've put a lot of calories and time into thinking about here at Alien Gear Holsters. And we spent probably 2 years in the making, some engineering time, a lot of concepting, trying to think through this issue. How could we provide the carrying public with the perfect solution? And I think we finally arrived there. And so we released the ShapeShift Modular Holster System in mid-June. And I can tell you guys a little bit about that if you like.
Yeah, what is it? Because, I mean, your other holsters have always been comfortable, so what have you done to make them even better?
Well, we've made a ton of improvements to just our previous flagship product, which was the Cloak Tuck 3.0 inside the waistband holster. This product had won awards for its comfort and concealability, hugely popular concealed carry product. And so we looked at how could we take this one step further. The ShapeShift Modular Holster System essentially takes that IWB holster and marries it with 3 other types of popular carry, which is the outside the waistband, belt slide option, and then a paddle option. And then also the appendix carry, which is something that our customers have been calling for a long time. We're excited to finally release a new appendix carry.
Okay, so you have one. Now, would you say it's one holster, or is it more of a holster system?
The first truly modular holster system on the market. And what I mean by that is you can take the starter kit, for instance, which I'll talk about a little bit later here, is it easily allows you to switch between 4 different carry methods. So if you want to carry inside the waistband, maybe you're headed to the range, and so you want to switch to an outside the waistband holster. All you need to do is swap out a couple pieces, and it fits together, and then you're wearing it on your belt just minutes later.
Well, that's pretty slick because, to your point, we do wear guns different ways depending on how we're dressing and what we're doing. When I'm going out to the range, generally I don't want an inside the waistband. I don't want concealment. I've got a range holster, a outside the waistband regular holster. And then you may want to, depending on what you're doing, you may want to go with like a 3-4 o'clock position, or you may want to go with appendix carry, or just try going back and forth.
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing that we've considered with this starter kit option for the ShapeShift is that we've included a free holster mount with anybody that orders the product. And what that allows you to do is to take off your outside the waistband holster, for instance, and just plug it right into a mount that you can put in your car. You can install it under a desk or on a wall. And so we've taken that modularity one step further.
That is very slick, and we call it the ShapeShift. And you've got a ShapeShift starter kit, and then I guess after that you could add accessories and different things to it to flesh it out, do whatever you want to do to customize it.
Yeah, so in the coming months, we're also going to be releasing a series of, we're calling them expansion packs, which basically just allows you to carry in a myriad of other ways that are popular. Some of those will be the shoulder holster. We have a backpack holster attachment, a MOLLE attachment. You can even carry with a drop leg. And so these upcoming transformations will allow you to convert from a IWB holster all the way to a drop leg with just removing and adding a couple of parts.
That is slick. And it's funny you mentioned the backpack, because in the last few weeks we've been talking about that with people having different ideas of how do you carry when you're wearing a backpack. So I'm excited to hear that you're working on that. I look forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. And I think you can probably look for these new products rolling out over the next few months. We'll also be expanding on our shell selection. So currently we offer about 25 different shells, which is what you put the firearm into. So we're going to be expanding on that. We currently offer, like I said, about 20 to 25 options, and then we'll be rolling out another 20 over the next few months. So we're going to currently continue to build upon the most popular models that are available right now. So we've got your most of the popular Glocks are available right now. Your Smith & Wesson, Springfields, Rugers, and Taurus are the ones that we rolled out with.
Sweet. And the really cool news is you're actually giving away a couple of the starter kits, the ShapeShift starter kits, through the Gun Talk giveaway.
Yeah, that's right. We're excited to announce a couple lucky listeners will be able to take home some starter kits for their system. And again, we're going to be carrying the Glocks and the Shields and Springfields and so forth. So, anybody is eligible to enter this contest. And the starter kit includes a modular holster system for your IWB hip carry, an appendix carry, an outside the waistband paddle, and an outside the waistband slide, plus the free holster mount that I mentioned earlier.
Sweet. All right, Tyler. And all they have to do is go to guntalk.com/win, and they can enter for a chance to win that giveaway, a couple of those. Tyler, thanks so much. You guys are always doing innovation over there at Alien Gear Holsters.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I appreciate you having me. And, of course, there's lots more information on the Alien Gear ShapeShift Modular Holster System at our website, aliengearholsters.com.
There you go. Tyler, thanks so much. All right, we'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Nosler has been a leader in bullets and ammunition for decades and keeps growing with new product introductions that follow this tradition. Accurate, highly effective bullets and ammo for long-range shooting, precision rifle competition, and big game hunting. To be the first to hear about new product releases and promotions, follow Nosler on Facebook and Instagram and become part of the conversation. You won't settle, and neither will we. Nosler.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created GunDealio. That's a free, yes, a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With GunDealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? GunDealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
When someone leaves you their gun collection, you may want a few, but what do you do with the rest? How do you sell them? Who do you call? Well, I call Johnny Dury at Dury's Guns. Whether you're selling one gun or 500, they'll tell you what it's worth and write you a check. Simple, quick, easy, fair. I trust Dury's Guns. Give them a call. DurysGuns.com.
You use Slip 2000's full line of gun lubricants, including EWL and EWL30, because you know your guns deserve the best available. It's time to add Slip 2000's Carbon Killer Gun Cleaner. Carbon Killer dissolves carbon and lead on contact, is not toxic, and reusable. Carbon Killer works on all weapons, including handguns, rifles, and machine guns, plus silencers and compensators. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
Did you happen to see, probably didn't because there wasn't much coverage of it, appropriately so, but there was a women's march to protest at the NRA headquarters. They were really upset with a video that Dana Lash did a couple of weeks ago, where she was talking about how the leftists, the liberals, are the ones that are calling for killing police officers. They're out there shooting congressmen. They're burning trucks and cars and buildings, throwing rocks and bricks at police officers. All are true, of course. And she said the only way to fight this is with the clenched fist of truth. In other words, we have to get the truth out there. Well, you would have thought it was the end of the world, because the media and the left just went nuts. She's calling for violence. Actually, she said we have to fight it with the truth. Okay. She said, you guys are the violent ones. You're the ones who are shooting people. You don't find anybody getting beaten up out there at a Trump rally. But you get, at a, the Trump people aren't beating people up. What you find is that the left people are just, it's almost difficult to explain it. It's so bizarre and so upside down world where leftists are attacking the police, attacking Trump supporters. He's wearing a Make America Great Again hat's liable to get punched out. And yet it's like the little kid who's, hitting his little brother and saying, stop hitting me, while he's hitting him. They're doing all this violence and saying, you guys are violent. You're going, what? It's just weird. So the left went nuts because Dana Lash said we need to fight this with the truth, and they said, well, that's violence. You're advocating violence. The truth to them is violence. So anyway, they had a protest march, The dude said hundreds of people there. I saw the video. Might have been 100. Might could have been 100. But more than that. And then here's the beautiful part. Here's the perfect part. Guns were welcome at the protest about NRA because they had armed guards to protect them. Yeah, we don't like guns. We don't want guns. We got to get rid of guns, except that we want people with guns to protect us. Oh, Lord, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. Anyway, we're talking about this 1911s. John's on 4 out of Mississippi. We're talking about if you got one of the surplus 1911s, John, would you do anything to it? What would you do?
I wouldn't do anything to it. My father had a gun collection. He's got several Lugers, and I'd put it in the pistol case and probably shoot it. I want to make the point, got a FN P35 that's got a Wehrmacht Eagle on it, so it's from the same generation of firearms. I tried to shoot hollow points in it, and they kept jamming against the feed ramp. So I think anybody who buys one and goes out and shoots, don't expect stellar performance. And I certainly wouldn't advocate honing down the feed ramp or anything like that. It'd be ruining a piece of history.
Yeah, they were made to shoot ball ammo. That's all they had, and they feed with that. But it's a good point. Don't take this thing. Now look, some people are going to say, I'm going to buy one, I'm going to take it, I'm going to tune it up, I'm going to fix it up, I'm going to do like old school, like in the 1950s, where we would take 1911s and send them to a gunsmith and make up a gun. Of course, back then that was all you could do. Now we have the Springfields and Kimbers and Smiths and Sigs and Rugers and everybody making really, really, really good 1911s. It'd be, in my view, it would be silly to take a genuine military surplus piece of history, 1911, and do that to it. But some people may do that. Hey, I appreciate the call, John. Thank you, sir. Ray is on 2. He's out of North Dakota. He's got a thought or two about getting one of these 1911s. What do you think, Ray? You going to sign up if that happens?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Ryan. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's Ryan and Ray, North Dakota, not Ray and Ryan. Sorry about that, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. I'd buy probably 3 of them if I could. One to save, one to shoot, and I don't know, maybe one to modify a little bit and shoot. But
what would you do? What kind of modifications would you do?
Oh, I got a Navy buddy that's a gunsmith for the Navy, and I'd see what he suggested, I guess, and let him play with it.
Now, I know there are going to be people are going to say, oh, that's just sacrilege. No, look, if there are 100,000 surplus 1911s coming in and the civilian marksmanship program is able to sell them, do what you want to do with it. It's not like they're going to be super collectible. Although, you never know. You may get one that's like a really early one, and it would be worthwhile to check on it. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and then another thing you were talking about giving away collecting guns, and I've done that some with some younger kids in my family, but I make sure that they know the history of it and, that it's more than money when you give away a gun to a younger family member or whoever, that they know about it and it's not to sell. And, it's something to treasure.
How do you do you just tell them the story? What do you do? What do you impress upon them?
And do history on that gun or rifle. Like just last year, I gave away an old 22 from I think it was a 30s or 40s model, just a cheap one. But I told him all the history about it, and it was actually his first rifle, just a young kid, and he just loved it. And, I know he's going to treasure it and keep it probably forever, so...
That's great. Hey, Ryan, I appreciate the call. Good info out there. Here's a thought for you. If you have an old gun like that, you can poke around on the internet. You may be able to find one of the original, magazine ads for that model, like if it's a Remington Nylon 66 or something like that. And sometimes you can order them off of eBay, actually get the page from the magazine. Would it be cool to have that ad, that full-page ad, and get it framed? And when you give somebody the gun, you have the framed ad, period ad from that time. And then if there's a family story associated with it, I would write it out and give them that also, so that it's there in a concrete form. But then again, that's just how I roll. How would you do it? What would you do if you were giving somebody a gun that was a piece of history and had a family connection to it? 866-TALK-GUN. right, still talk about the possibility that in 2018, the civilian marksmanship program may be allowed to sell military surplus 1911 pistols to the public. Obviously, with all the laws being applied and all the background checks, blah, 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 all that other stuff. Get over it. Line 1, Robert's in Shreveport, Louisiana, with a thought about 1911. What do you think, Robert?
Sir, thank you. Yeah, I want one just because I want one. And it's a great weapon, and it represents history. My dad was in World War II, my grandfather in Korea in World War II, so yes. Secondly, I thought maybe, now you correct me if I'm wrong, were you trying to think about Friar Tuck from Robin Hood? Is what Andy Devine played?
Oh, that's it, Friar Tuck. Thank you. That was it. Andy Devine was the voice of Friar Tuck.
Yeah, well, look, man, this is funny because I don't cheat. I didn't go to Google. I didn't go to a book. I didn't go to a movie. I'm thinking, okay, I'm 62. Now let's just use this, and I'll just see. Pow! And I got it. All right. and for those who might not know, real quick, one more thing. Andy Devine was the marshal in the man who shot Liberty Valance, the big old guy. That was Andy.
Yep. Well, he was a hoot. He was a real nice fella. I knew Andy and his wife, Dogie. She was in the Little Rascals way back. I mean, we're talking about way back. Interesting couple. They were in Newport Beach, California. They had a little place on the water just around the corner from John Wayne. They had a little wooden dinghy, and he had I think an old military destroyer or cruiser or something. So a little bit of difference in their movie careers. But yeah, Andy was a hoot. Hey, Robert, I appreciate that. Really quickly, we're going to get to Joe in Jefferson, Texas on 4. Joe, about these 1911s, what's your question?
Well, I haven't heard you discuss price or grading of these weapons, and I was just kind of curious, is it going to be, you just get a weapon for a certain price, or do they grade them from...
I think we're well ahead of... We don't know. We just had the bill introduced which would allow it to happen at all, and it would be the 2018 fiscal year. So we're probably a year or two out from knowing what's going to happen. I'm sure they will grade these like they have done with other guns, and then they'll come up with a price structure. But we're so far ahead of that it's one of those, we could sit here and argue about it, but it'd be kind of like just something you do in a bar. We're not going to get to any place with it. But ask me in 2 years and we'll know, okay? Would you get one?
Oh, if it's not, I'm not a spendthrift, but if it's in a reasonable, I've got a Colt Commander that I absolutely love and only don't use it because of all the current thinking on the type of weapon to carry and all that. But no other gun I love more than my 1911 Colt Commander. All
right, here's a question. Would you buy one for $500?
Absolutely. If it's not just falling apart piece of junk.
Yeah, me too. That's, and probably if you can get one that's really graded nicely and it's a real nice one, I might be willing to push close to twice that. I don't know. Somewhere between $500 and $1,000 is probably going to be the threshold for a lot of us, I think.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate the call, sir. You take care. Yeah. Man, wouldn't that be sweet if we could get 100,000 1911s released? Maybe bring back those, I think the number, if I remember right, was something like 80,000 M1 Garands that are sitting in Korea. 85 in the Philippines, Jim says. He corrects me again. Darn it. 85,000 Garand sitting in the Philippines, so that'd be cool. Now, I was thinking the Philippines also had a lot of M1 carbines, so we'd have to check on that also. It'd be nice to get some of that. They all belong to the U.S. They all belong to the U.S. military. Get them back in here. We have no need for them in the military, but we could sell them to people like you and me, citizens, who actually own them, because they belong to us because we paid for them. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? All right, 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we'll talk about new guns, maybe even a 1911 and a cool caliber.